looking for blockers. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So the Utah Utes offense will have the opening possession of the game. And they are led up front by a powerful offensive line that opens up an array of possibilities, Jesse.
No question it's the identity of this offense. Multiple players up front that are going to play in the National Football League. This unit is going to be up for the Joe Moore Award at the end of the year for the outstanding O-line, David. They are going to try and establish the line of scrimmage with their physicality.
And it's a tremendous challenge with this defensive line because you know that. Like, you've got to be aggressive. You've got to be physical. I've got to take away their ability to run the football first. This unit's nasty. They're dirty. I love them.
The Utes in a good spot here with 2nd and short. He'll pull it on the read. All down, but they'll move the sticks as he picks up the first down.
Well, the defense did a pretty good job that time on the option play of having someone dedicating themselves to the quarterback to get him down. Not enough to stop the offense from picking up the first down, though. The defense really needs to be keyed in on this because they're going to see this option play more and more as this game goes on.
Back to throw, it's Dampier. Going to try to get it himself. Breaks into the open. Nice job by this junior quarterback to get it done on the ground.
I just love this guy's instincts, right? When things aren't open right away, he never panics. He just understands the situation where he is on the field, and he's so confident in his own natural ability that he has the ability to run, go get the first down, keep this drive rolling.
The give on the option. And he'll pick up one. It brings up 2nd and 9.
Run game is good. Balance is good. Now listen, if the run game isn't good, then you got to pass the football a little bit more. But sometimes you got to keep them honest, take them chunk by chunk.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. A designed run for the quarterback. Out of the crowd, and now he's got room. They finally make the stop, but the big run is plenty to move those sticks for the first down. It is rare to have this kind of speed at the quarterback position, and the tough thing for a defense is even if you're right, he can make you wrong.
Same thing for an offensive coordinator, just the opposite. You might dial up the wrong play, but because of his speed, natural athletic ability, he can bail you out and go find positive yards.
He works his way down to the 30-yard line before he stopped a gain of 3. Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Unloads quickly. They'll wrestle him down just short of the first down. I don't even think they're going to bring out the chains to measure this one.
Good job reading the defense by the quarterback on that RPO field. He waited to see how the defense was going to play the run. He saw defenders bite up close to the line of scrimmage, and right away he knew he had the slant throw right in behind.
He'll keep it on the sneak. And on fourth down, here comes the field goal unit. And he'll need a little distance and to bend it just right, a 41-yarder from the left hash. And he barely got enough of that one to somehow tuck it into the left corner just over the crossbar. And that'll put the first points of the game on the board. It's 3-0. Drive ended with a field goal. The kickoff team out there to send it away. Let's see if he can make a play on the return. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So the Arizona State Sun Devils offense will go to work for the first time today. And the story is going to be in this one. Will this quarterback be able to operate before that big fella on the defensive front gets right in his grill, Jesse?
And listen, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but he better play with a clock in his head in this one. He's not going to have a lot of time. There are a lot of quarterbacks around the SEC that probably felt this way back when they played the Georgia Bulldogs and David Pollock, right?
Yeah, especially those real teams with Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. But, like, here's what's fun. You can't throw the ball off your back. And that's what this guy's going to try to do. Get to the quarterback, affect him. The bottom line is every quarterback becomes really human when you hit him. Can he hit him and make him human?
Yeah, they're just going to need more push up front. There was nowhere for that running back to go. The offensive line got moved right back into his lap, and as a result, they lose yards on it.
This crowd, full throat, splitting the eardrums and letting them know it's going to be a long day. To the air, it's Levin. Makes the catch. There he goes. Defense caught out of position, and they get him down finally at the 38. The Sun Devils surpassed all expectations last year. Kenny Dillingham in his second year winning the league with the team that was picked to finish last, guys.
And in the playoffs, more than represented themselves well. They had the bye, but they fought Texas tooth and nail. Could have won that football game, and Jesse, a superstar at the quarterback position.
They got a really good one coming back. No Cam Scatterby this year, though, so they're going to have to find ways to be able to run the football effectively. That was a big part of their success a year ago.
Guys, that's the end of the quarter, and Utah has the lead here. And we've come to the end of one, and let's take a quick moment to catch up on the stats. Now to see if these guys can get back in the game in the second quarter. Kept it on the ground on first down, now back to the line. Leaves it with the running back. Picks up the first down. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks.
And I tell you what, we can focus on the left side of the line of scrimmage because that's where the play starts. But you don't get big gains when you run out wide unless wide receivers, yes, wide receivers, commit to blocking, staying on their guys. Really good job on the outside by giving the running back space to make the big play.
They go to the ground. Wrestled down at the 8-yard line as they threaten deep in the red zone. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Soften him up with a run, now to throw. And they get to the quarterback and knock him down back at the 16. If you had a DB on the bingo card for the first sack of the game, you win.
Man, and I've been here before, Reese. Like, I can hear the trash talk right now. Like, wait a minute. I got to cover everybody in the back end, and I'm going to get sacks? Like, hey, defensive line, you want to get me some sacks? Or I guess I'll do it myself.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. To throw, it's Levin. Going for 6. Touchdown, Sun Devils! They get it into the end zone to pay off that opportunity. Well, they started with horrible field position, but ended with perfect field position in the middle of the end zone.
It all comes down to execution, Reese. You've got to have guys going out and doing their jobs. You saw the offensive line up front. They were physical. Skill players made it happen with the ball in their hands, and the quarterback really showed command on that last drive.
Ready to try the point after. And the extra point makes it 7-3.
That makes the score Arizona State 7, Utah 3.
They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. Fielded in the end zone, it's Green. He's brought down at the 16, would have been much better off to take the touchback. The Utah offense returns ready to go back on the attack. They'll start this drive with a chance to regain the lead down 7-3. And a 9-yard gain on first down leaves them with second and short.
love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
And the Utes can really attack on this 2nd and short. Rides the back on the option to give. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down.
They needed only 1 yard. Good job by the offensive line, getting just enough push to keep this drive alive.
They'll put it in play from the 27, first down. Out of the gun to give to the back. Oh, he's got some space. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line.
First down, physicality wins football games. Being able to run the football and create balance. And right here, just choose up another first down, gives you another chance to maybe continue to run the football.
And I feel like this guy, too, is just an explosive play waiting to happen. His vision, his quickness, and he's got a burst. If you give this guy just a crease, he's going to hit it. And right now, he's doing some damage on this defense. Just got to finish the play for the wide receiver. You got to look that one in and complete it. It's a bad drop.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Looking downfield, it's Dampier. If the quarterback's a little more on target there, maybe they hook up, but it's an incompletion.
Well, that's one the offense would love to have back. That's a play they practice over and over and over. They feel like they can run that play in their sleep, not able to connect there.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. Gets the back moving. On 3rd down, he drops the throw. That pass not close as he got drilled trying to deliver it, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Great job by the defense dialing out some pressure on 3rd down. They hit the quarterback and forced the incompletion.
The Utes will send out the punt unit. They'll have to boot it away for the first time tonight. We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and they'll talk it over to see if they can build on this lead before halftime. They take over late, and they have enough time to put together a drive. They'll crank up this drive with the pass. With the catch, it's Moss. You'll take this every time. 5 yards on the first down play.
I think really good wide receivers do a good job of making every route kind of look the same. You could tell this looked like a vertical route. So if I'm a DB, I'm bailing, and all of a sudden he sits that hitch down. Nice job by the wide receiver, creating enough separation to create a positive gain.
Throws for the tight end. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit.
Well, the quarterback knew he wanted to go to his tight end on that play. He's a big physical target, but it was the hit on the play that forced the incompletion.
This is why Rice-Eccles is one of the toughest places to play in all the country. Try to get your 3rd down conversion in the midst of this. Fires to the tight end. Now they'll really try to get this drive going. Good execution on 3rd down as they have it 1st and 10 at the 31.
Listen, at this point, the end of the first half, you're trying to generate some points. First downs are the most important thing. So a really good job there converting on that 3rd. I love the decision by the quarterback. You kind of wonder, though, are they going to want to be a bit more aggressive and maybe start taking some more shots and attack?
Oh, they're after him. That pressure got to him, and he just had to chuck it out of bounds. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? Wants to throw again. Grabbed in the middle. It's Tyson. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one, and they've got enough for the first down.
All right, 2nd quarter, getting closer to the half. Offense is still having a lot of success stringing some first downs together. Defense is going to need to figure something out before they get to halftime.
And the Sun Devils have it with a 1st and 10. Pulls and fires complete to the right. After the pickup of 9, it's 2nd and 1. They'll immediately call timeout.
Love the decision-making by the quarterback there on the RPO play. Defense took everything away deep down the field, so just check it down, get it to your guy in the right flat, and let him go get yards.
Here's a quick throw out to the left. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down.
Well, this defense now is just getting gashed, and if you're the defensive coordinator, you might now want to think about being aggressive, changing up your play calls, and maybe breaking your own tendencies because you have got to stop this offense just marching down the field.
Caught behind the line. It's McClain. Makes the grab almost to the first down marker, but a good pickup on that one. Quick timeout from the offense to save precious seconds. The Sun Devils can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Dropping back, it's Levin. The throw to the outside is complete. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
I'll tell you, QBs and receivers, they practice these out routes all week long. And you've got to anticipate. You've got to be comfortable throwing it before he gets out of his break. And they executed it perfectly right there to pick up that first.
Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Unloads to the wideout. He can't find his man, and the clock stops with 6 seconds left.
And they could have flipped that field in a hurry, right? They've given up some yards. They're sitting in their own red zone. A chance to make a big play. Yeah, he could have made that interception and could have flipped this field.
On second down, they'll try the field goal to get the points before halftime. And this one only 35 yards out, but not straight away. This one from the left hash. It's good. Now up by 7 points here in the second.
And listen, y'all know in the booth and everywhere how I feel about kickers. Don't always love leaving it on their foot, so to speak, but nice job executing. He keeps doing stuff like that. I'll keep trotting him out there.
So they get the late field goal right before the half and not much time after this kickoff for an answer. He'll take the return and try to improve the field position. Coverage team there to make the stop. They avoid disaster, and that's the end of the first half. We've played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Gentlemen, you've been calling a lively one so far from Salt Lake City. And yes, football is a game of inches, but man, is that really the case when you consider the length of some of these possessions. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I do know this. The team that sustains drives and just moves the sticks might be the team that comes out on top today. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
We're just about ready to start the second half. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Arizona State is going back on offense, and they come out looking for a spark. They haven't really been able to light up this scoreboard, but putting points up would be huge here. Tackle is made at the 28 after a pickup of 3. Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7. They get to him as he throws. Got his man to the left. They've got it to the 49-yard line, and they'll move the chains.
One of the nice things about RPOs is that it's a slow-developing mesh between the QB and running back, and that allows these receivers time to get vertically downfield and work their routes. You saw it right there on that play.
And the Sun Devils come to the line after ripping off that huge gain on the ground, trying to keep it going. Turning it on! Good execution. They move the sticks, and they've got it at the 33.
This is going to be a big key for him, David, with the lead here in the second half, running the football, right? Staying on the field and bleeding the clock.
Yeah, run the football. You're ahead. You can be a little bit more conservative. But again, this opens up the pass. This keeps everything in balance for this offense.
Got room to work.
Tell you what, that read game really slows you down defensively, kind of makes you play responsibility football. And when you get chunks like that on first down as an offense, I would continue to come back to it.
The Sun Devils have a lot of options on 2nd and inches. The play action fake. Finds his big tight end. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down.
Well, it's a nice job, too, of the quarterback after the play fake there, getting his eyes down the field. He had to get that to his tight end quickly, knowing he wasn't going to have a lot of space to run with after the catch.
The crowd getting behind this defense as they try to get a stop in the red zone. Looking for room. It's Udo. Spins away from the defense. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Arizona State!
And I like the running back's vision. He sees the hole, explodes through it. He knows where the goal line is, gets in the end zone, gets 6.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point is good. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. And they finished it off with a 17-yard touchdown run. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. Good job by the coverage unit to stop the return man. Utah has it back on the offense coming onto the field. Now we'll get a chance to see if they can answer that last score, trailing by 14, Jesse.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, I feel like offensively, you should go back to what's been working for you in this game. Don't be afraid to dial up plays that you've already had success with, running it and throwing it. It's okay to repeat plays down 14 at this point.
And I would also say, Palmer, kind of understanding that my defense is not playing great, so I know offensively I got to put some good possessions together here, make something happen on this side of the football.
He's going to run it. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
And they bring the blitz. I mean, you could tell they want to make him feel uncomfortable as quick as possible, and you can see him. He takes off with the football, and they just try to get to him, try to get him on the ground, but this defense choosing to blitz right now in this football game.
And this offense can ill afford to come up empty on this drive, already trailing by multiple possessions. And they'll miss the connection here on 3rd down.
And you thought maybe in the second half this offense could just find a rhythm, find something to take advantage of this defense, but the defense has really had their number, not putting up a lot of points, and again, an empty possession right there.
And the Utes will try to pin them back with the punt. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. He'll settle for some pretty good field position and make the fair catch at around the 35. They'll put it in play from the 36 for the first play of the drive. Called it, finds his man on the left. At midfield, he's got room. And perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle as they gets him down at the 37. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Sun Devils, after exploding for that huge run, back to work. He'll keep it himself. Gotta protect the merchandise. Gets down without taking a hit.
Yeah, it's a nice job by this defense. Understand, listen, that QB is a threat. And they're going to run all kinds of options. He's going to run the football. They were dialed in and got that sucker on the ground.
Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. To the air, it's Levitt. Spits it out to the back. Grabbed near the marker, it's Brown. He's brought down, but what a play for this offense, and they'll have it at the 12-yard line.
The defense has got to be able to make a play at some point here in the second half. You're down 2 possessions. You need to steal a possession badly. You need to have a takeaway. The coverage is going to have to be way tighter than on that last throw. Otherwise, this offense is just going to go up and down the field.
The Sun Devils come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Caught in the backfield, it's Tyson. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to move this guy everywhere. He was in the slot this time, but I'm not going to let the defense understand where he's lining up so they can double team him, put him in the slot, put him out wide. Either way, find this guy early and often.
Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. They'll run play action. He's got it on the run. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall.
Third down coming.
And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody, based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. One more quarter to play, and it might be unlikely, but hey, it's college football. Comebacks happen. With the break, they had a little extra time to dial something up for this third down play. He wants to throw it again. Touchdown, Sun Devils! And they take it in for 6 more points.
There's no mercy rule in college football, man. They've got a huge lead here in the fourth quarter. They are still chucking it, and they are still scoring.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead.
Extra point.
And the extra point splits the uprights, and they're up a full 3 touchdowns, a 21-point cushion in the fourth.
Score Arizona State 24, Utah 3.
The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. The returner will field it and try to set up his offense in great field position. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Looking to throw, it's Dampier. Quarterback floating away from pressure. Nice job by this junior quarterback to get it done on the ground.
Sometimes these guys just have eyes in the back of their head. You saw it right there. He was able to buy himself time, get outside the pocket, and at that point, I think the decision was pretty easy. Hey, I can go get this with my feet. And he was able to do that. Now they got a fresh set of downs.
They'll snap this one from the 30 on 1st and 10. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Got it in the middle. It's Bentley. Really nice pickup there as they have it out to the 44 with the 1st down.
I'll tell you, you cannot count this team out because of who's playing quarterback. When this guy's in the game, it's never over. Yeah, they're trailing here in the fourth quarter, but this dude can put up points quickly.
They've come out with answers on this possession, and now another 1st down. Looking downfield on 1st down. Here's a heat. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
And I tell you what, this defense, they've heard all about how great this quarterback is. They came in today with a mission, with a purpose. They've been flying around, harassing him, and making life so hard on this offense.
The Utes now with a long way to go to pick up the 1st down. Quick completion on the out. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup.
And defensively, this is exactly what you want, right? You got the big lead, so you can play big zone coverages. Just keep the ball in front of you. Keep your eye on the quarterback, rally to the football, gang tackle, and you're going to win this game.
Here they come, facing 3rd and long from the 40. Finds his tight end. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there.
It's always interesting how people handle late game. Like, you know this game is over. There's not a lot to gain from it, but some people try to throw the ball deep and continue to make plays. They throw it short. The clock's running out, and there's not a lot to talk about that's going to be positive for this offense.
On fourth down, they'll pass for it. He's going to let one fly down the middle. And it's incomplete, and this defense makes a fourth down stop. They'll keep it on the ground. The clock is on their side. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain.
And I know you can play these late-game situations differently, but I love when you just stay physical. You run the football, you preserve the lead, you got great field position, you're in a great position to salt this clock away and get a W.
We've reached a 2-minute timeout. In all likelihood, they could just run the clock out. We'll see if they want to rub a little salt in the wound. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. The give to the back. And they'll bring him down after a short pickup.
And I'm a fan of this, man. Run the football, eat the clock. We got the lead. This offense has put together a nice day, man. Like, just balance, rhythm, timing, play calling, everything has worked. That's why they've built this lead. They've had a great day today.
Now facing a 3rd and long. Off the RPO, quick throw to the right. Breaks into the open. They've got it inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 28. It's first down.
And at some point for the defense, I'm just thinking, hey, man, like, it's got to be somebody else. I mean, the big tight end has made play after play after play today, and we know if it gets close in the fourth quarter, they're going to look his way, so the defense really needs to have a plan.
He'll do it himself. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
On the direct snap, it's Brown. And they'll stop him just short of the first down, just inches away from moving the sticks.